Ever stop to think how much those little impulse buys on your phone are adding up to, and how many subscription payments are sneaking out of your bank account every single month? Before I started using Rocket Money, let me tell you, I had no idea. But the first time I logged in, I saved $435. I couldn't believe it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I just love the dashboard. It shows everything in one place, even the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. And if there's something you don't need, Rocket Money helps you cancel it. Plus, it alerts you if a bill increases or if something unusual pops up in your account. It's basically like having a personal assistant for your money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Kim today. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim.
You're listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
Okay, take a guess. How many words do you have in your own mental dictionary? Even the dirty words, they actually count. Well, researchers found that the average 20-year-old American knows around 42,000 words. By age 60, it's 48,000 words. Wow, isn't that something? One study found that when you look at an image, you select the word for it within 200 milliseconds. That's just crazy. Oh, here's one for the kiddos on that note. What do you call a dinosaur with a great vocabulary? What do you call a dinosaur with a great vocabulary? A thesaurus. Oh, I know that one was bad. All right, get set. We are already primed and ready to go to be tech ahead and never left tech behind in the dust. Because after all, that's my job. I'm Kim Komando, your beloved digital goddess. You just tapped into the best show, the biggest show, the award-winning show on all things digital. You can find me on your local radio station across the country. We're also streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for my last name, Komando. And a huge hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea get the Kim Komando Show. I just love that. Now, I know that you have a slew of questions about something that's happening in your digital life. And I also know that you can go to your favorite AI chatbot. But when you need trusted advice, you need advice from a person, a human being who does not hallucinate. That's where I come into play. 1-888-825-5254 is the Komando hotline. And just a reminder, you can always make an appointment to speak with me here on the show. Just head over to the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show. That's komando.com. And there's a link at the top that says Ask Kim. Alrighty then, every single day I drop by at least 35, 40, sometimes even 50 different sources to make sure that I'm up to date with what's going on in the tech world. And here are 5 things you need to know what's happening right now. And we're going to start with the most expensive website name ever sold. Are you ready? Do you know what it was? Make a guess. Any idea? Cars.com. It sold for $872 million. Why didn't I buy that? Back in 2014. Well, not when it was that expensive, when it was first came out, like in the 90s. Well, this week, OpenAI bought Chat.com. So when you go to Chat.com, it's going to go to ChatGPT. So how much do you think that sold for? Well, it sold for $15.5 million to HubSpot's co-founder. He said he bought it as a project. He doesn't really want to sell domains. And he doesn't want to give the details, but safe to say it was over what he paid for it. Moving on to number 2, you can't control the weather, but maybe you can control the prices. I mean, let's say you're headed to the store to buy some, a warm pumpkin spice latte. It's freezing outside. What's the price going to be when you get in there? Is the price going to be lower than summer or higher? Higher. Big retailers like Walmart are using weather data to set prices based on real-time weather forecasts. Late last summer, for example, they adjusted the price on sunscreen because we were going to have a colder, wetter fall. So more people are going to be inside, time to drop the prices. So something just to keep in mind that now with dynamic pricing, it can change instantaneously on the shelf, is that you might want to start thinking about, okay, it's cold out. Why is the price higher? What should I be buying now? That sort of thing. Moving on to number 3, there's been a major breakthrough in cybersecurity. It's called Project Zero, Google DeepMind. They created an AI agent that found a big problem. Now, the problem slipped through the best of human cybersecurity researchers. Now, the reason why this is such a big deal, this is the first time that an AI agent found a 0-day vulnerability. That means like it hasn't been found, it hasn't been fixed, and hackers can just break in like crazy right now. Wow. So it would take a whole team to find that 0-day. AI did it itself, all by its lonesome. That's all. Right? Crazy. Moving on to number 4, as you make your travel plans for the holidays, hotels are making a big time comeback. Turns out that we're not really digging Airbnb and Vrbo and the millions of folks who are renting their homes anymore. Why? Because hotels are cheaper and there are a lot of great properties to choose from. And you don't have to clean up after yourself or make your bed. And then, of course, there's all the horror stories, the hidden cameras, the creepy hosts. Oh, remember that one that was secretly living in the attic when a whole bunch of women rented it for like a bachelorette party? Or how about that other home that was infested with bats? Oh, gross. Neighborhoods don't want them nearby. Prices are skyrocketing. So what you want to do is make sure that you are checking for local hotel rates as well as Airbnb and Vrbo, because you may be able to find a deal there. It always reminds me of that movie, The Shining. Really, think about this. If we did The Shining today, it'd be like a family's first Airbnb experience goes very wrong. Okay. Oh, and this finally number 5 coming to us from Dallas. For who knows how long, people have dangled off skyscrapers, scrubbing away at glass hundreds of feet in the air. And they're there with a harness and a squeegee. Wow, something I would never do. But you know what's really interesting about that? When my grandmother came over from the Ukraine, she didn't speak any English, and she actually started a successful window washing business in downtown Manhattan. So amazing to me. At one point, she had like 40 guys that worked for her. But anyway, moving back to robotics, there's one called Ibex. It's a spider-like window washing robot now being tested in Dallas. Things packed with cameras and sensors. It crawls up buildings like Spider-Man. It scans every inch of glass to make sure that nothing is ever missed. Using cams and sensors, it knows what frames to crawl over. Now, the only human involved is someone on the ground that says that they are babysitting the robot on the skyscraper using a tablet. Oh, I bet you that job has its ups and downs. Womp womp. All right, coming up, we're talking about how AI can save you some time, what to do if your Apple Watch detects sleep apnea, because now you can do that. And what happens if someone's asked you for your phone's PIN? What's the right answer for that? And of course, we have your phone calls, and you have me, Kim Komando. Okay, imagine getting $500 for yourself and then $500 to give someone who truly deserves it. Maybe it's a teacher, a nurse, a fireman, a neighbor, a stranger who's been through some tough times. Well, that's our Pay It Forward contest. It's happening right now. You can win $500, and then I'm going to give $500 to somebody else. And you can enter to win right now at winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Aside from the big show here, I host a podcast called Kim Komando Today. You can check it out over at youtube.com/Kim Komando. And I had a chance to sit down with a couple really amazing teens this past week, Kirk and Jacob McKinney. Here, take a listen. How old are you guys?
Yeah, so I'm 21 years old. I turned 21 in August, and my brother, I'm 19.
Okay, so pretty young.
And so when did you start the business?
So I was 17 years old when we first bought our first truck, and then Jacob was 15, about 4 years ago.
I didn't buy my first truck until I was in my 30s.
Okay. And even now he's got a car with payments, but that's okay. All right. So tell us how this all got started.
Honestly, it all started on accident. Like, I never knew that I wanted to own my own business like this or be an entrepreneur, and it all kind of happened when I was being curious one day and riding my bike, and I discovered the dump. And when I went to the dump with one of my friends, I saw this set of speakers on the side of a dumpster. So I asked the guy if the speakers worked or if I could take them. He didn't know, so he said I could take them. And when I brought those speakers home, they ended up working, and it was like a $50 pair of speakers that someone just threw away. So I ended up, like, after that day, just going back to the dump over and over and basically collecting audio equipment because I just loved audio equipment and speakers in general. I was very passionate about that type of stuff at the time. And eventually my bedroom turned into like a mini hoarder house because it was just stacked to the ceiling of audio equipment that I found from the dump. But my mom basically said I had to throw it all away, and I couldn't just throw that stuff away. And that's when I realized that I could sell it on Facebook Marketplace. And that's when I sold my first radio for $50. And it was more money than I had made working at my job at the grocery store for $12 an hour. I made like $50 in 30 minutes of work doing something I loved. And that's kind of when it all started.
Okay, so you go from speakers. What was the next big find?
Yeah, so this was also happening around the time of COVID is when I was exploring the dump. So basically what happened was like everything shut down and certain items were higher in demand, like lifting weights and bicycles. So I would go to the dump and find bicycles that people would throw away and weights and collect those. And for the weights I found, it's like $1 per pound of lifting weights that I would find. So if I found a 225-pound dumbbells, that's $50 right there. And a bicycle, but like you couldn't get bikes anywhere because everyone was home and bored trying to go out and do stuff. And I was selling them on Facebook for like $100 each. And I remember one weekend I sold like $4,000 worth of bicycles during my spring vacation in high school.
Wow.
And you didn't spend any money acquiring anything to this point. It was all just found items.
Yeah, and I didn't even have a car at the time. I would basically like make a pile of this stuff at the dump and then ask my mom to like pick it up for me because it was like 5 minutes from our house. And then as much as I could, I would ride stuff home on my bicycle too. So I'd be like riding down the street with like a full flat screen TV in my hand on my bicycle.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Boy, first of all, kudos to your mom. Because, some moms be like, oh, come on, just, don't be doing this. It's all garbage. Forget about it. But then I bet you she started seeing the potential when you started really making some money doing this.
I need a loan would be our next question.
And so you continued to work the dump, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then did you transition into collecting junk?
So basically what it started off as was a little side hustle where I was selling junk that I would find at the dump. And then after about like a year of doing that, I learned about the junk removal business through being at the dump because the guys who worked there, they really liked me because I would always help them out. And they did junk removal, so they invited me to go help them on a couple jobs. And I saw they were just able to pay me so much and still make so much money on the job. And it wasn't too much different than just transporting items back and forth from the dump. It's like transporting an item from someone's house to the dump now. So I saw that opportunity and saw that it was more scalable and bigger than just selling the junk itself. So that's when, around the time that I ended up buying a pickup truck with my brother, and we basically started removing junk for people. And the guys at the dump are the ones that kind of showed us the ropes of how to start off. And it's a really simple business. But that's how the junk removal end of things started.
So did you advertise?
Yeah, so I would say when we first started, the advertising we were doing was more like, hey mom, do you have any friends who needs this? But very quickly we realized that only got us like one job every 2 weeks. And I mean, it kept us somewhat excited, but we still definitely needed more. So from there, we went on like Nextdoor.com and started posting there. And we went on Facebook, started posting on there. And I'd say Nextdoor and Facebook were the two platforms that we really started off with. And that kind of transformed that like one job every 2 weeks into maybe like 2 or 3 jobs a week.
So now, did you turn this into a cycle where I would come to you and say, hey, I need you to get rid of my junk, and I'd give you some money, and that's how you made money. And then you'd take my junk, you'd find the stuff that was good, and you'd resell it, and then you made more money.
Yeah, exactly. So like people, you'd be surprised when when people are moving is a lot of the times when they hire us. So if someone's moving and they can't take everything with them, a lot of the times there's really good stuff that they're just throwing away. They need it gone. So we'll be removing like working TVs, really nice $1,000 couches, all this cool stuff. And then we'll be able to go around and sell it. And I mean, from the beginning of our business, working with that $4,000 F-150 that we purchased with selling junk. So literally starting from zero, just selling trash to buy our first truck. We've worked our way up to now having 3 dump trucks and a warehouse where we can sell the junk out of full time.
So how much are you guys making?
Our first year with just the pickup truck, we did $120K in revenue, and it was high profits because we basically did everything ourselves. So we took all that money, reinvested it into our first dump truck, and with the dump truck and the pickup truck, in our second year, we were able to make $430K.
Wow.
And now it's our 4th year business. We've bought a 3rd dump truck because of the increase in volume. And now we're on track to do about 1.2 million this year.
You guys are killing it. This is so amazing.
That's right. They're called the Junk Teens. Wow. What a booming business they have. Again, you can hear the entire chat wherever you get your podcast. Just search for Kim Komando today, or you can watch the interview over at youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right. I want you to start thinking about how you can use AI in your life. I'm talking about the chatbots like ChatGPT or Microsoft Intelligence or Gemini. You can say things like, hey, my plants look like they're dying. Can you give me some tips? You can also upload an image of that plant. We'll say, hey, I think you're watering it just a little too much. Or you're planning a trip. Oh my gosh, I did this myself this past week. What items can I fit in a suitcase? Upload a picture of the suitcase for, say, a week in Paris or wherever you're going. So start using photos with your prompts for better results. Hey, stay right where you are. We have your phone calls, and you have me you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
Big news. Sephora is now on Uber Eats. So if you find yourself facing a beauty emergency, like needing a last-minute gift, or you're just out of your favorite mascara, again, don't panic. We got you. Order now and get $10 off on Sephora orders of $50 or more on the Uber Eats app. Order now. Offer ends October 30th. One order per customer. Additional terms apply. See app for availability. Delivery fees may apply.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the Dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
All right, coming up in our health tip, we're going to talk about what happens if your Apple Watch detects sleep apnea. And then later on, someone else asks you for your phone's PIN. And you're like, is it a good idea to give that out or not? And before we get to that, and of course, your wonderful phone calls, let's talk about Google. You know, Google has stepped up all this tracking. And they rolled out a feature called Results About You. It keeps an eye out for any mention of your phone number, your home address, or your email address on the internet. Now, if it finds something, they're going to alert you immediately and then gives you a dashboard so you can see exactly what popped up. And then, of course, from there, you can ask to have it removed. So in case you want to give it a shot, you want to go to myactivity.google.com results. And then you get a full rundown of what the internet has on you as far as your personal details. myactivity.google.com/results. I know I hate giving out those addresses, but sometimes it's just necessary. Let's see. Tom in St. Louis, Missouri. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Kim. Always good to talk to you and hear what all of our seniors are doing these days, because I am a senior. And as such, you know, I'm always looking to save a couple bucks.
For sure.
And so I'm looking at hearing aids, because I know hearing aids are in my future at some point here, and they're in the thousands of dollars cost.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently I saw about the Apple AirPods Pro 2 that actually act as a hearing aid. And I said, well, that sounds pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is I'm a Pixel person. And I'm wondering, is there any way that I could use the Apple AirPods Pro 2 with my Pixel? Or maybe I've got a lot of friends who have iPhones. And do you think I could borrow theirs to actually set up my AirPods?
Let's talk about this. Number one, the AirPods Pro 2, they are phenomenal earbuds. They are. The hearing aid feature is good for mild to moderate hearing loss. So if you have anything more than mild, it's probably not going to do you very good. But it's always worth a shot, especially if you already have the AirPods Pro 2s. Now, the way that they work is that you go on your iPhone and you take a hearing test. And the test does not show up unless you have your iPhone paired with your AirPod Pros 2 and they are in your ears, and then you go into your settings and it says, take a hearing test. So you're like, oh, sweet, I'm going to take a hearing test. So you're going to use your friend's phone in order to do this with your AirPods. Now, that's going to affect your friend's profile, just to let you know. Because all of a sudden now that they're going to have hearing loss, or maybe they didn't have it before. Okay.
Oh, that could be a problem there.
Okay. And then, you could say, well, I'm just going to pair it with these AirPods, and that's okay, but it's still going to be tied to their profile someplace, somewhere.
Yeah.
The configuration happens in the AirPods itself, but here's the other issue, is that these things get updated all the time. And so eventually it may work. What my feeling is, it may work for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, they don't work again because it's paired to your friend's iPhone. Then there's some update that's coming down the pike. Then you don't get the update, and then, okay.
I gotcha.
See, the thing.
Can I answer one thing?
Well, let me finish. The thing about Apple is that it is a ecosystem, and so with that ecosystem, you get all this great compatibility. But when you try to get out the system, you don't have that capability. So, like, if you have a Pixel, the Google Pixel Buds Pro, they work seamlessly with Android devices. Does it have the hearing aid capability right now? Absolutely not. Will it have the capability? Absolutely 100% it will. Just doesn't have it right now.
Right. I might be better off than just waiting until they come out with that feature. And I can hear pretty well, but I know it's coming. So that might be I could wait a year or so if I have to.
Yeah, you can wait. Or you could always see if, take a look at hearing aids and see what's out there. If you're suffering hearing loss right now, why wait for a year? Just, take a look at, hearing aids. We have a sponsor in case you want to check them out, here.com/Kim. Once again, that's here.com/Kim. They have some 45-day risk-free trials you might want to just check out. But I wouldn't try to mix those apples and oranges any day of the week. And Tom, thanks for your call. All right, your Apple Watch is like a little doctor on your wrist. You wear it while you sleep. It will notify you of low oxygen levels and sleep apnea, which, aside from causing that, crazy snoring, can lead to serious risks, of course, like heart attack and stroke. While Apple's new sleep apnea tech is FDA approved, it's not perfect. Your watch mainly tracks wrist movements at night, which is good for picking up severe sleep apnea, but not as reliable for mild cases. Apple also says you need to wear it at least 30 days to get a really good reading. And if you're worried, you really should be paying attention to the real signs of sleep apnea. Ask your partner, your spouse, your roommate if you snore really loudly or if you ever wake up gasping for air. If you wake up with headaches or confusion, other signs. So if you have these, make sure you go to a real doctor where you can be assessed for real. All right, here's what we got coming up. What if your new boyfriend or girlfriend or partner asks for your phone's PIN? Ooh, feels a little creepy, doesn't it? And of course, we have some more wonderful phone calls, great phone calls you just can't afford to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. Now, before we get to all the phone calls, just a quick reminder, a couple of things. Number one is that I love to get your questions. I love to help everybody out. And we've got a few ways for you to do that. Number one, if you want to do it by just writing me a note, best place, don't DM me all over social media. I get overwhelmed. Best place, Komando.com. There's a link at the top. This is Ask Kim. That's when you can be 100% assured that I'm going to see your note. The other thing that you can do is record a voice memo. This is so fun and it's so new. And so I want you to think it like a voicemail. So you don't have to say like, hey, Kim, comma, I have a question, exclamation mark. No, don't do that. Just say to whoever your smart assistant is, take a voice memo, you record into your phone, and then you hit the little box with the arrow pointing up, and then you can just email that to me to podcasts with an S. That's podcasts@komando.com. That's podcasts with an S @komando.com. And by the way, don't send me any type of text there. That's just for audio only. Podcasts@komando.com. Voice memos only. All right. That all said, Daniel in Virginia. Hi there, Daniel.
Well, you had mentioned in one of your recent newsletters a number of statements about artificial intelligence, trying to get some knowledge out there on how people can use it in their daily lives or in their business lives. And you invited people like myself to send you questions if we had any. And so I sent you a question about my business.
Oh, okay. I remember. Yes.
Artificial intelligence. Yes.
Yeah.
Golf Scotland is the business. It's a golf tourism company.
Yeah, I remember you sent me a voicemail.
Yes, I did.
A voice memo. So cool. Thank you for doing that. By the way, folks, if you ever want to send me your question in a voice memo, you just go ahead and record on your phone. You send it to podcasts@komando.com. Podcasts@komando.com. All right. So tell me about your company and how did you come up with this idea and how did you get started and good stuff like that?
Well, long story short, I was on a business trip working for another company out there in Palo Alto, California, called Tibco. I was doing a trip to Germany, and on the way back, this is back when they still had magazines on the airplanes. I was looking at a Golf Digest magazine, and in the back there was an advertisement for somebody to apply for what turned out to be a franchise idea, but anyway, a position in North America.
Okay.
And this company was headquartered in Dundee, Scotland. Couple of there was two guys that started this business, and I think there was a total of 4 people in the company at the time. But these two guys were both members of the Royal and Ancient Club for St. Andrews, and so they were able to garner guaranteed tee times that they could then resell to their customers, whoever they wanted to. Mm-hmm. And so they asked for me if I wanted to join their company. I said sure. What's entailed. And so they said, well, come on over. I flew over there on a Sunday. And so when I arrived there, I went out there on the course, and I was like, what's going on? There's people flying kites and walking dogs on the golf course and riding bikes. And what the hell is it? What is going on here? So anyway, it was shock and awe in the first occasion. But anyway, long story short, then I said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And so they said, well, okay, we've got a couple of folks already over in North America. We've got some guys in New England and some California. What about the Mid-Atlantic area? Would you like to do that? I said, sure, I'll do that. So for the last 20 years or so, I've been just putting golf packages together for people who want to go play golf in Scotland and Ireland. And it's been great. I've been enjoying the heck out of it. It's kind of been a side gig, if you will. Mm-hmm. Not relying on it much for anything other than to play golf myself and whatnot.
Yeah, but how fun? You know what? How fun is that? And so your question to me was, was how can you increase the sales in your area? But now you said you have like a geographic territory.
I do, primarily focused around the West Virginia and Virginia area, but not only that. I don't want to tread on some of these other people in New England or in California. Okay. They got enough. But, just in my general Mid-Atlantic area, I'm free to, market the whole area if I want to.
Okay. Well, so if I were tasked with this job, what I would do is to make a list of who is my customer, who's my favorite customer. What does that person look like? So you put together whoever this perfect profile is, and Dan, you know who that guy is, and you know who that gal is. Okay? In my case, it wasn't my husband who's the golfer. But see, what you can do once you have your perfect customer in front of you, that's when you look at Facebook advertising and Instagram advertising. Because of the geographic limitation, because like you said, you don't want to step on anybody in New England. You don't want to step on anybody in the Midwest or Southwest, whatever it may be. Is that you can say, I'm looking for this person, and you have all this criteria: how many kids they have, what their age is, what their employment status is, what level they are in a corporation, whatever it is. Okay, maybe they even follow certain golf personalities. And so you have all this data, and then you go onto Facebook and you say, I want to find this person and I want to give them this ad. Okay.
Right.
And then you start figuring out how much you're willing to pay for that person to come in through a lead, to fill out a form, and so that this way you can give them more information and then arrange a trip for them. Because you do golf, hotel, airfare, transportation, food, whatever it may be, special occasion. And so that's when you come up with whatever that cost is going to be and what is your threshold. And so I have intimate knowledge with Facebook advertising simply because that right now I'm spending anywhere between, I'll tell you what the number is, anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000 a day in Facebook advertising.
Sure.
Okay. Well, how am I doing this and why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I'm building a new newsletter business. So that's when we look at how much is the long-term value of that customer, and that's where you got to do the math. Okay. And this is also where you can use AI, because you can plug all this into AI, go to ChatGPT and tell it to be, I want you to be a golf marketing expert. Okay. And you say, this is my perfect customer. Give me some headlines and give me some ideas for some creatives for Facebook advertising. Okay. And in addition to that, you can also run ads on golf and travel apps and target people just in your particular area. So start from there, Dan, and look at how you can use ChatGPT to ask it some questions, and just as if you were paying a marketing consultant, and you're going to be really amazed at what it comes back with. So take a look at Facebook ads, tons of tutorials on the internet, and then if you need any additional points, tricks, secrets, whatever it may be, just know you can always tap right back into me. I mean, let me tell you, starting and growing this business has been the most expensive business degree in the history of mankind. I love getting business questions. I think it's so fun. I love entrepreneurs. And so if you ever have a business question, please feel free to reach out. I mean, I started this company. I have no debt, no investors, super proud of that. And I bet you I can pass along some words of wisdom that will help you out too. All right, still to come, your new friend wants your phone's PIN, or maybe your longtime husband or wife does. And you're like, do I really need to give it up? That answer is still to come here on the Kim Komando Show. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the hiring process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions. Super cool. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Okay, so you're in a relationship. You respect each other's privacy. Do you share your smartphone's code? The answer is not always yes, because it's now considered a major step in a relationship, kind of like handing over a spare set of keys to your house. And it usually comes after the two of you share your location on Find My Friends or a similar app. Because you have to remember, your phone has a lot of your personal information on that. And what happens if the relationship goes south? You're left totally exposed. So what you want to do is ask yourself a few questions. Do I trust this person? Most importantly, do we plan to stay committed? Hey, and don't forget to enter to win our contest. Go to winfromkim.com.